Good evening, ladies, and welcome to another Hot Topics live stream. Thank you for joining me. Let me make sure my mic sounds good real quick. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. Push one in the chat if I sound okay. My mic is kind of in a new position. Do I sound echoey to y'all? Am I echoing? Okay, it sounds good on my end, but it sounds a little bit echoey. We're gonna roll with it though, because okay, good. Y'all said it sounds good. Okay. Well, hey everybody. It's been a while. A lot has happened. I got a lot of stories to cover. Um, y'all sent me a lot of requests, and I won't be covering all of them here, but there's some other stuff I'm going to get into too that is like trending topics that I'll probably put in a pre-recorded video. So everything most recent won't be covered here tonight, but we're going to get into the stuff that I think is good for a live stream, if that makes sense. All right. And before we get into it, I do exclusive content for Neptunian members and patrons. So if you're interested in watching, the links to join are in the description box. Also, if you like my content, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. Hey, everybody. Hey. So this was probably one of the most requested topics that I've gotten in the last week or so. Let's talk about Nancy Metayor. She was the vice mayor of Coral Springs, Florida, and she was recently unalived by her husband, Stephen Bowen. And listen, y'all know I don't do well with Black femicide stories. Y'all know me. um they just don't sit right with my spirit. They physically make me feel ill. Like right now, my stomach hurts a little bit. And when I was reading about this situation, my stomach was hurting. It's just, it just doesn't do good. It's not good for my mental health. Okay. It's very bad for my mental health, to be honest. And that's why I don't cover femicide stories regularly. They are very hard for me to cover. But I wanted to discuss this particular story because it really highlights the points that I have been making for years about getting romantically involved with men who are not on your level. And I want to make it clear that Stephen is not broke. Okay. I read that he was a radiologic technologist. So he took x-rays, MRIs, CT scans for doctors, and he was employed at a hospital or some sort of medical facility. Okay. So it's not like he was broke and this was, it could have been a financially hypogamous relationship. But it wasn't, as bad as some of the other relationships that we've seen. However, Nancy's social status was higher than his. Okay. And that could have possibly been why he unalived her, because he was jealous of her social status as well as her political trajectory. I read that she was actually preparing to run for Congress. So, and she was highly respected among her peers. Politically, she was a community advocate that did a lot for the Black community and other marginalized groups. I mean, she was the typical pro-Black social justice warrior Black woman, right? She was like ride or die for the Black community. She was ride or die for, marginalized groups. And we talk about that a lot. We talk about the mindset of women, who are conditioned to basically be mammies for everybody. And I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee that pro-Black community conditioning, that mammy conditioning that Black women receive in the Black community is part of what encouraged her to marry a man like Stephen, a man who likely was not as ambitious or pro-Black as she was, or as involved as she was in trying to make a change in this world. Because I didn't see a lot of, other than him being like, x-ray technician or radiologic technician, or what was it? Radiologic technologist. other than that, I really didn't hear about him doing any community work, any advocacy, any involved in politics at all in any type of way. So, they just were not on the same level socially, you know, totally different levels in that regard. Um, and so he likely knew that she had more going for herself, which is probably why he took her life. We're speculating here. We don't exactly know, but that's what I think it was, and I feel like he didn't want her to greatly surpass him. He probably always had this underlying resentment for her because of her success and because of her notoriety, and most men in his situation, they would just try to, ruin the woman's reputation or something like that, or try to make her look bad in some way. But in this case, he just unalived her. He was just like, well, I'm just going to get you out of here. So you can't surpass me. You can't do anything else. And that is just so cruel. And it is so selfish. And based on this mugshot, I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all see it, but he does not even appear, it doesn't appear that he even has any remorse for what he did. Look at the smug on his face. Like, just that alone pisses me the fuck off. Like, when I saw his mugshot, I was like, he's happy. Like, he's happy about this. And that is just the sickest, most disgusting, cruel thing that it's just, oh my God. Like, it's just so sad to me. And so it's just disgusting, but he couldn't ruin her reputation, so he took her life. And ladies, this is how far a man's resentment of you can go when you are more successful than he is. Like y'all said, a jealous man is dangerous. Envious men are dangerous. Like, when we come on here talking about, not dating down, not marrying down, not being hypogamous, it goes beyond the superficial shit. Like, these men can literally be dangerous. Like, this is real stuff. And I've talked about this in the past. Like I said, I don't cover a lot of these stories, but I've talked about this in the past. I don't think they had any children. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they had any children. But yeah, and it's not just about money, you guys. This is about social status as well. And I remember when I said this about Halle Bailey and DDG, and there were people in my comments like, oh, well, DDG has money. He's a millionaire streamer. He's not broke. He's not dusty. But I said right in the video that I did on them, and you can go watch it after this one if you haven't already. But I said that I was talking about he and Halle's difference in social status and how they are perceived in society by their peers, right? And Halle has more prestige. She has more prestige. She has a better reputation. She has more respect and influence, despite DDG being a millionaire. And he was jealous of that. So that kind of stuff matters. And I suspect that the same thing applied to Stephen Bowen when it came to Nancy. And I've been telling y'all for years that marrying down can literally be dangerous. And this is the perfect example of that. And if you look on the outside, they look just like the regular, Black love couple that that Black women especially celebrate every day. Oh, look at that beautiful Black love. Oh, they're so cute. Like, that's how, if you just saw them without knowing, you would never know that there was an issue. And to my understanding, like, before this happened, they were only married for 2 years, I think. Before this happened, there were several calls to their residence that had to do with some type of domestic violence incidents. So it seems like, he was showing signs of being violent. It was something going on. Now, I know that all of the calls weren't related to domestic violence and weren't domestic issues, but some of them were. And I'm sure as this case unfolds, we'll hear more about maybe their situation, and maybe we'll learn more about those calls. But this just goes to show you that you can never tell what's going on behind closed doors, especially when it comes to these Black love couples. And I'm sorry I have to single them out, but it's just, I have to do it because it's the Black femicide numbers that are the highest, y'all. So, we have to be honest about this. And it can look very pretty on the outside. Like, the package can be very, very pretty. and you would just never know what was going on. I mean, the girls are getting divorced out here. I don't know if y'all saw, it was another beauty influencer or a beauty influencer that was on YouTube. What was her name? Y'all can put it in the chat. But she just announced that she was getting divorced. I was like, oh my God, like what is going on? And they had the cutest content. I think her name was Gigi something. The cutest content posted up on social media. I remember there was one video of him like cutting her hair at one point. And I remember I saw that video and I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. And you just never know what's going on. Yeah, I haven't watched the Aloho video, but yeah, Aloho getting a divorce too. It's just like, what is going on? And listen, I'm not saying that, other groups, other communities don't get divorced, but, I'm just saying, I've been telling y'all for years, it's like, y'all want to listen to us. And then when we have to come back and be like, I told you so with these kind of stories. And, just be very careful with marrying these men who are competing with you, who are jealous of you, because they can be dangerous and they can be very resentful because of your success. It can cause a lot of resentment. You being more successful and having more social status can cause a lot of resentment from the man that you're with, and it can turn into anger and even violence and even death. Okay. And this is especially true with Black men. And I say that because many of them already feel emasculated by white men and the system of white supremacy. So that's like an extra layer there. It doesn't take much for them to feel emasculated in relationships with very successful women. And what's very interesting about this is Black men, they say all the time that they want this. They want Black women who are accomplished and who, quote unquote, bring something to the table, right? They say that all the time, like what you bring to the table. And I don't want a broke woman. I don't want, a woman. And we're going to get more into that later because I have a clip of a man actually saying that, right? But then when they get those kind of women that they're asking for, a lot of times they're very jealous of them because they are perceived better than them socially. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but Black men in general, and I've talked about this before too, Black men also compete with Black women a lot more than other races of men compete with their women. And, I know it's coming. Listen, I'm not saying that Black women can't emasculate men or be competitive with men. I've definitely seen that too, right? But I have also seen Black men competing with the Black women they're with when their woman is just trying to be on some power couple shit. They're trying to be on some, oh, let's both get it together. Let's be a power couple, yada, yada, yada. Like most of the time I see this, like the Black women don't even be on that. At most, they be on some, let's be a power couple. Let's be on some 50-50 stuff. Like it's the man that starts to feel inadequate. And we talk about that all the time. We're not making it up. Yeah, Liquid Sunshine says social capital is important. She would have become a mayor, etc. My goddaughter's aunt was unalived by her partner. He might have been served 7. Wow. Woo. That's not long enough. 7 years is not long enough. These motherfuckers should be getting life in prison. They should have to suffer for the rest of their life for taking someone else's life. This is crazy. But yeah, a lot of these men are very competitive with the Black women they're with. And the thing about this too is that Black women will even try to help their men reach their level. They will invest in the man. They'll pay for him to go to school. They'll let him not have to pay the bills in the home. They'll give them money. They'll buy things for themselves and act like their man is paying for it just to save face for the man. Like Black women are doing a lot of this shit, and a lot of y'all are not admitting it, but this is what's going on. And rarely does that ever work because it usually just causes more and more resentment the more you have to pay for this man or the more you have to level him up. And resentment grows on both sides in that situation. And that's why this kind of hypogamous, lopsided social status type of thing in relationships rarely ever works out. Like we're not just saying this just for the fun of it, ladies. Like it just doesn't usually work out. Yeah, exactly. And so stop trying to level your man up. Like, let him level up on his own and settle down when he is well established. That's it, and that's all. Don't be playing house with a man before he is seriously established. And I'm sure that, in this situation, Nancy, she had a lot of political career goals. And so, it looks good to be married. So that probably played a factor into why she married him as well. And she's like, okay, this is the best I'm going to do. I got to be married if I, you know, want to run for Congress. If I want to be taken seriously politically, I have to do this. And so I'm sure that played a factor as well. But look at what it cost her. It cost her her life. And so it's just not worth it, ladies. It's not. And this is not about, it goes beyond the material things. When we talk about hypogamy and hypergamy, like it goes beyond that. Like this shit is dangerous. It's dangerous because men, especially Black men who already feel like they're not manly enough, like they're, the losers of society, like they're the bottom of the barrel socially. And, they don't have anything. They feel like white supremacy is oppressing them. This, that, and the third. We hear them talk about that all the time. It's literally dangerous to get with a man like that if you're more successful with him. It just is. So, and again, I'm not singling out Black men because it can happen with any race of men. But this, this just makes the case for hypergamy. Like, dog, how many examples I got to give y'all? How many examples I got to give you at this point? Like, I'm going to keep coming back with these examples. Like, this is why I say, like, I know y'all tired of me beating a dead horse and sounding like a broken record, but it is what it is. Like, how many more examples do you need? Like, these stories literally prove my point. Every point I make in my videos. Yeah, and she was very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. And you could tell, she was very passionate about what she was doing and very passionate about her advocacy. And look what happened to her. Like, none of it paid off. Like, it's just so sad. So sad. Ugh. And I personally cannot get over this mug on his face. Like, I can't get over it. He has no remorse. Like, he is happy that she's gone. He's happy that he killed this woman and ruined all her dreams, her hopes and dreams, ruined her career, everything. He's happy about it. And that to me, that just makes it even more insidious. Like, yeah, he seems proud. He does. He does. But yeah, so if you are in a relationship, ladies, listen, it's sometimes where I'm not like, because, the girls get mad at me because, some of the girls be like, oh, you're hard on those of us who are in hypogamous relationships or 50-50 relationships. Sometimes you can make it work. I'm not saying that you can't. In rare cases, okay, it can work, right? But as a rule, I'm not going to promote that because of shit like this. I'm just not going to do it, y'all. I'm not. Especially when it comes to Black men. And if you notice, y'all, Black men in general tend to be very competitive with Black women, whether they're in relationships with us or not. Have you noticed that? Just in general, Black men are very competitive and they're very catty about it too. They act a lot like women in that regard. It's very effeminate. And this is something I wasn't fully aware of until coming online. It took me a while to like catch on to the fact that grown men were competing with me for visibility and popularity online. And I was like, wait, because they were men. And I was like, hold on. And the men in my life, they weren't like that. I never had to worry about like competing with a man or seeing a man compete with a woman. I've just never had to deal with that until coming online. So it took me a while to realize that they were competing with me and that Black men in general are very competitive with Black women, even if we're not competitive with them. So, if they're competing with random Black women that they don't even know, they're definitely competing with women they're in relationships with. So if you see any inkling of that in a relationship that you're in, any like evidence of a man competing with you, even just a little bit, and you plan to be more successful than you are now, you need to get out. You need to get out now because it's only going to get worse the more successful that you get. And it can also happen where it doesn't start out that way, but it becomes, like a competitive situation or a jealousy situation as time goes on, when you become more successful in your career or when you get more education or whatever. But usually they show the signs up front. You know, usually you'll see some things that let you know, oh wow, they're jealous of me, or they're competing with me, or they're trying to, deter you from following your dreams, or getting into a certain industry or getting into a certain career or taking a certain job. It's like little ways that it'll show up where it's like, you can tell that he doesn't want you to be more successful than him or more successful than you already are. So if you see any signs of that at all, get out. Any signs of that at all. Yeah, and that's another thing they do. They try to sabotage you. Yeah. They will definitely try to sabotage you. Oh, you don't need that job. Oh, you don't need this. You don't need that degree. Oh, you don't need to do this. You don't need, Oh, yeah, that's another one. He'll try to keep you fat. Yeah, it's all kind of different things that men will do, to try to sabotage you or stop you from leveling up. So if you experience any of that, or you see any signs of that early on in a relationship, which again, usually men aren't good at hiding that. Usually they will let it be known in the very beginning that they don't want you to surpass a certain level. And so if you ever feel that way, even a little bit, I recommend like leaving that situation. Or if they, get mad that you're going to work or you're going to a work event, or, if they get mad at any of your accomplishments, or if you're being um, rewarded for anything, or you're being, positively acknowledged professionally or educationally, and he, feels some type of way about that, that's a sign that he's jealous of you or that he's competing with you. And, I don't know this story. I don't know. I can't speak for Nancy, but I can almost guarantee you that there were probably some signs with this. I agree. Feminine dark skin says give it 3 to 6 months and his mask will fall off. That's another thing. Like, he, because some people will say, oh, well, Chrissy, some men are good at acting. Most men aren't. Most men aren't. They might be able to act for like maybe a month or two, and then eventually his mask will slip. So, and I know the girls hate this conversation. They're like, oh, you're victim blaming. I'm not blaming what happened to Nancy on her at all. Let me just make that clear. I'm not blaming it on her at all. But we do, as women, we have to be honest and have these kind of conversations and talk about, the red flags, because usually they're there. So that's not victim blaming. That's just saying, hey, sometimes the flags are there, and sometimes we as women ignore them because we want to be married so bad. We want black love so bad. We want to look a certain way to other people so bad. It's just so many different factors that go into why black women make these kind of decisions. And unfortunately, sometimes it will cost us our lives. And, I think that it would be irresponsible for these situations to happen and us not to talk about that. So it's not about victim blaming. It's not about, you can never vet a man. Yes, you can. You can. You absolutely can. Yeah, RIP to Nancy. This is just a really sad story. And another thing is, I want to know, where are all the people who report on black femicide when the black woman's partner is a white man? Where are y'all at? Where are the videos? Y'all care about black femicide so much, right? Where are your videos on this? Where is your outrage? Oh yeah, that's right. There is no outrage because the perpetrator is a black man. That's why. And see, that's why I can't take y'all seriously on the topic of black femicide, because black women are getting unalived by black men the most. So if you really cared about that, you wouldn't only talk about it when the unaliver is non-black. Oh, he's Jamaican? I didn't know that. Chantel says, Chrissy, he's Jamaican. And as a born and raised Jamaican girl, the femicide in my country is sky high. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's sky high in it's all across the diaspora. It's like that in the States too. I think Black women have the highest femicide rates. So like that is a problem. That's a problem. And we need to talk about that. Yeah. And so at some point, and that's another thing, like a lot of y'all girlies, the non-American girls, some of y'all will come up here, with your superiority complex and talk about, oh, well, our men aren't like that. Our African men aren't like that. Our Jamaican men aren't like that. And look what happened. And then when these stories happen, all of a sudden the truth comes out. And it's like, oh, the femicide rates here are high as fuck. Oh, well, I thought y'all men were so much better. And so like, we got to stop that shit too. Because clearly this is a diaspora problem. Wow. See, I didn't know that Haitian women in Florida have been getting killed all month. Then I saw somewhere else where a Black female pastor just got unalived by her husband too. I forget her name. Y'all can put it in the chat. But I just saw that in passing yesterday when I was looking online. I was like, what the hell is going on? But it happens all the time. These just happen to be, the cases that hit the national news, where we see it, the cases that actually go viral. But I think it's like a Black woman gets unalived is it 4 hours now? 5 hours? I forget what the stat is. But, this is like, it happens every day. And so, I'm not a Black femicide channel, so I literally will be drained and sick, physically ill if I came on here and talked about this shit every fucking day. But there are channels that do. I know Leah Gordon was one of them. That was a good channel. There's another channel on here called Black Girl Unlost. You can watch that channel too. They talk about like literally that's their whole channel. And so, if you want to keep up with that, I recommend following those two channels. But yeah, like, this is a real conversation. And this is why I can't take these people seriously. Like if Stephen Bowen was white, this would be more talked about. Like more Black women will be talking about this. More Black people online will be talking about this. The manosphere will be talking about it. All those swirling gone wrong pages will be talking about it. They're not talking about this because Stephen is Black. And so it's like, I can't take you seriously. So the next time a Black woman is unalived by a white man and it goes viral, hell yeah, I'm going to come back and be like, well, why didn't this go viral? Why wasn't y'all talking about Stephen Bowen? Okay, yeah. Tammy McCollum is her name, the pastor's wife. Yeah. And I don't know what happened with that. Like, does anybody know the details with that? Lord, Lulu, I'm going to talk about that next. But I just wanted to get this out the way. This was one of like the most requested topics that I got in the last week or so. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. It's like I was debating on it. I was like, oh, I don't know. Because these topics are so draining for me. But, because I talk about, hypergamy, I thought this we don't know all the details, but it does seem related to that. It seems like he did this out of jealousy. Like, I'm not going to give him mental illness. I'm not going to give him a scapegoat. I think he was just jealous and resentful and he was envious of his wife. That's what I think it was. I don't think he was mentally ill or anything. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he doesn't care. Look at his face. Like he has no regrets. He has no remorse. Whitney says, some of these men are dangerous, so please be careful, ladies. It saddens me to hear about Black women getting unalived by their spouses. Yeah. It's scary, boy. It's very, very scary out here. Yeah, and y'all make sure y'all get the likes up. But yeah, we're going to move on from this one. R.I.P. Nancy Metayor. We're not even going to give her... I don't even want to say his last name. We just gonna call her Nancy Metayor. That's how we're gonna remember her. I don't feel like he deserves her to have his last name. You know what I mean? Like that's just. But anyway, so what do y'all want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about Leslie Jones or do you want to talk about Kendra G? I'll let y'all choose the next topic. But yeah, R.I.P. Nancy Metayor. Yeah, beautiful lady. She did a lot for the community. And this is another thing, y'all. This is why it does not pay. This is part of why it does not pay to be a social justice warrior. It just doesn't, like, I don't really see much benefit in that. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't. Even though, you know, she was running for Congress, I think she had a good, you know, a strong political future. But either way, it's like, girl, man, it just makes you wonder. Like, just imagine if she was not on that social justice warrior shit and she wasn't pro-black and pro-black male, it kind of makes you wonder, would she still be here? You know, you kind of think about it like that sometimes, like, damn, this mammy shit really be getting Black women killed. And it's sad. It's so sad to me. So sad. Yeah, we're going to save Momo Boyd for the end because she's part of the corrective promotion. I don't know. I think, okay, most of y'all want to talk about Kendra. So we'll move on to Kendra G. Let me where's my thing? Okay. So Kendra G, she did a interview with Cam Newton. And you know, I just feel like I just don't get the appeal of his podcast. Like, I feel like every time I watch this podcast, I lose brain cells. Like, I don't get why Black women still go on there, but I guess, you know, for the notoriety because he's Cam Newton. I don't know. But let's listen to this clip that went viral. And then we're going to talk about it. Let me find the video. Let me know if y'all can hear the video.
Who gets the most grace? If a Black man dates outside of his race versus a Black woman dating outside her race, who gets the most grace?
Okay, the Black woman gets the most grace.
Explain.
Because so first I'm gonna answer and then I'm gonna give my personal thoughts of
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Black women get outside the most grace because of numbers. See, the thing is this, Black men, you guys have numbers in your favor. There's so much quantity for y'all to choose from, right? Women cannot say the same. Although I will not, I have learned, and I'm going to give the full story, I can't date a non-Black man. It just doesn't work for me. I can't do it, but I do support it from the numbers component because there's so many Black women that want to be in relationships with a certain type of guy, and there's just not an equal amount of that man, right? So if there's Black women that are like, I don't care, he has to make a certain amount of money, you must open up your pool to non-Black men because that's the only way you're going to have more options of meeting a guy in that caliber. Now, personally, Kendra G, I can't do it. And I learned last year because I had an opportunity, literally the richest man that has ever tried to court me, and he was not Black. But then I thought, well, I would have to sleep with this man one day if I'm going to really grow with him. And I can't have sex with a white man. I can't. I've been to Africa. This is personal Kendra G. And I want to say this to all my Black women who date outside their race. I support you because I understand it. But in Kendra G's personal manner, I've been to Africa, I've been to Ghana, I've been to the Elmina Castle, and I took the tours. And it's one thing to read about slavery. It's another thing to really, and if you go, you will understand what I'm talking about. You can still feel our ancestors in these caves. And they give you, there's a church upstairs while women are being raped. And there's one part in Elmina Castle that it was like the slave masters would be at top, and then the Black women would come, and they would pick out which one they wanted to have sex with. And so for me, I can't, like I said,
unsee that.
I can't unsee that.
Unfeel that.
And the wealthiest man ever that has ever tried to court me. And I knew that I still could never have sex with him just because of my ancestors. Like, I am doing this for Black. Like, everything I'm doing is to put it in the Black category. I live in Beverly Hills and I'm Black as hell. Like, I act very Black and I do it on purpose because we belong in every space. You're not going to take us out of anything. And as a Black woman, that just Like, it's really important to me. So I understand my sisters that decide. I even recommend it. And it might sound crazy, right? But I personally can't do it.
Okay, so you heard what Kendra had to say. And first thing is, y'all clocked it in the comments, okay? Notice how we only hear Black women talking like this about swirling. We never hear Black men say the same thing. And I think that that's what I took from this clip. Black men will talk about slavery. They will talk about the evil, oppressive white man and how white supremacy is so terrible. And they will turn right around right after that, the same day, okay, the same hour, the same moment, and brag about dating white women. Brag about dating white women, the oppressors, mothers, and daughters, right? And that's why Black women look so silly when they say these things, because it's not reciprocated by the men in our community. And I think that Kendra is genuine when she says, she supports other Black women swirling, but I do think that some of this is kind of like a dog whistle for Black men, right? And it's like, oh, see, y'all still got me, brothers. I'm still available for you. You know what I mean? So that's part of it too. And it's not that I don't understand what Kendra is saying, right? I think that it is valid for Black women to have complicated feelings towards white men because of our history with them in this country, and all over the globe, really. But that, by that logic, we should also have complicated feelings towards all men, right? Because when I hear Black women use slavery as a reason not to date or be intimate with white men, my mind, and this is just me, because I'm a deep thinker, my mind always goes to the African rulers and merchants who sold the slaves to the European traders. And of those rulers and merchants were mostly Black men. I mean, are we forgetting that part? Like, Europeans relied heavily on African men who were the intermediaries to the slave trade. That's how they got the slaves, y'all. And in return, the Europeans, the white men, they would give them alcohol, they would give them firearms, and all the things. And so they were a part of that whole operation too, right? And even today, Black men in certain parts of Africa, they are practicing the most craziest things against women. They're still doing that whole genital mutilation thing, cutting off the little girls' clitorises in Africa. These African little girls in certain countries are getting married before the age of 18 in certain parts of Africa. Yeah, the Arabs as well. So, Black men are doing a lot of fucked up shit in the motherland and in the West as well. I mean, we just talked about the femicide rates. The femicide rates are highest among Black women across the diaspora. And we just did an example with Vice Mayor Nancy Metayor. So it's like, if you aren't dating white men because of their ancestors, involvement in slavery, why are you still dating Black men when they too were involved in slavery and the oppression of women specifically? Like, why aren't we drawing it all the way out, ladies? And I know, listen, let me say this too. I know that slavery and specifically the transatlantic slave trade was brutal. It was bad. It lasted for a very long time. So I'm not like completely equalizing the role of the Europeans to the Africans. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying that men in general are oppressive, y'all. Men in general are very oppressive. That's who they are. That's who men are. Okay. And I think white men in particular, they have just done a better job at being oppressive than Black men. That's what it is. That's what it boils down to. They have done a better job at commercializing and capitalizing from their oppressive nature than Black men have. However, and I've said this before, I don't believe that Black men are inherently less moral because of that. They're just less strategic. Yeah, right, exactly. Even before slavery, look at the Moors. Yeah, I talked about that before. And so it's like, And I know this is not a popular thing to say, but it is what it is. Like, if I had Kendra's logic, I wouldn't date men at all, because most men in general, they seek to dominate, they seek to control and oppress in some capacity. Mileage may vary, right? And if they don't directly do those things, they support men who do. They support the system that does, which is ran by who? Men. So it's like, if you hold that against white men, you should hold that against all men. That's just my logic. And that's why I tend to have more respect for the staunch feminist girlies who just don't deal with men at all, because they're not giving out passes or special treatment to one group just because, they're a certain race. You get what I'm saying? That's just my logic on the matter. But, and to me, that's what Kendra is doing. She's giving special treatment to Black men because that's just who she prefers. But if you can still date and be intimate with Black men, despite the misogynoir, despite the high domestic violence rate, despite the high femicide rate, despite the colorism and everything else, if you can judge them on an individual basis, then you can do the same for white men in 2026. White men who have never owned slaves, by the way. No white man that you're meeting that's interested in dating you in 2026 has owned slaves. Like, is that what we doing out here when we out here in the dating market? You meeting, and Kendra said it herself, like the most wealthiest man she's ever met. White man, non-Black man, and she couldn't sleep with him because of something that happened 400 years ago? Girl, what? I can't do it. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. I mean, I didn't know the girls out here doing that. Like, y'all really out here rejecting white men because I mean, I guess I knew that's what y'all was doing. But to hear like the example like that she gave, like this white man, like you actually met a white man who was interested in you, had money, he was paid up, and you rejected him because his ancestors owned slaves. Girl, this is what we be talking about, y'all. This is why a lot of Black women be single. It's not that they don't have options. It's just that, they're waiting on that Black man. And girl, Kendra, I'm not trying to convince Kendra what to do, but girl, you just need to come on to the other side, girl. Because either way, like, men are men, babe. Like, and the Black men that you love so much, they're not doing that for you. They're not. And I just, I honestly would have more respect for Kendra if she just said that she prefers Black men, because, that's what it is. She's probably just more attracted to Black men, right? And that's what it is. But, for her to use slavery as an excuse and to use it to, throw this dog whistle to Black men, is like, girl, no, please. Jade the slave. Exactly. Mind you, most white people didn't have slaves. Right. Exactly. So, girl, it's time for the ladies to catch up. Because like this is just, it sounds so antiquated and dated. Even though I understand it. I do understand the mindset, but girl, it's time to move on from that. Okay. Ain't nobody thinking that way but Black women. Nobody in the world is thinking this way but us. Like, it's not to say that other groups are not tribal, because they are. I think most other races too, they prefer to date their own. So that's not a problem. But they're not like not dating somebody because of, slavery, or something that happened in the past. Most people aren't really thinking that way. Yeah, and thank you for your super chat, Jade. But yeah, I think that and this is just Kendra, by the way. Thankfully, the floodgate is already open, and Black women are swirling anyway. that's why it was brought up in this conversation. And the reason why this was even brought up is because more Black women are swirling, and it's becoming noticeable now. And so there's no more. If you notice, the conversation kind of shifted. Like first it was, oh, Black men or non-Black men don't want Black women, they don't want y'all, and now it's, oh, well, why are Black women treated differently when they date out versus Black men? And I'm tired of that question always coming up too, because we know the answer. Like most Black women prefer Black men. And so like it's a whole nother thing. And then like Kendra said, what she was right about when she said Black men have the pick of the litter because they have all these women, they have most Black women who want them. And then they have other races to choose from as well. And so, they have the pick of the litter. And so it's like the ratio is off. The desirability is lopsided. The ratio is off. Black men have more to choose from than Black women. There's not enough Black men available for all Black women. I think Black women outnumber Black men as well. And so, exactly, Leona. And that's the point. Like, and I wish that Kendra would have circled back around to that. Like the reason why Black men have so many options is because we're not opening up ours. It's like we can have the pick too if we open up our options. And this is not to say that all non-Black men want Black women. That's not actually a thing. But there's enough of them who want us, because you got to remember, non-Black men outnumber Black women as well. And I'm pretty sure that Ralph Richard Banks did the stats on this. And he said that there are way more non-Black men who are interested in Black women than Black women even exist. Like they outnumber us as far as that. So like if all of us wanted to open up our options, I'm sure we could find a Black man or non-Black man somewhere to do that, because they outnumber us as well. So it's like one of the problem is that we're just not opening our options. Like that's really what it is. That's really what it boils down to, y'all. But like I said, like the floodgate is open. Y'all, I see so many Black women swirling out and about, at least where I live. Okay. It's just a common occurrence now, which is why I think there's so much fear mongering trying to deter us from dating out. But I don't know, y'all. I don't think it's working. What about y'all? Do y'all think it's working? Because I don't. I think that's why these conversations are happening, because it's actually just not working. The fear mongering is not working as much. I think that some of the pro-Black man, Black women may hear this kind of stuff and it may like, I don't know, kind of make them feel comforted in the fact that they prefer Black men. I definitely think most Black women still probably prefer Black men, but it's enough of us who are exploring our options, at least, for it to be noticeable and for it to be a conversation. And Cam Newton, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the way Black men talk about this, you can tell they feel some type of way about it. Even though they be trying to act like they don't, like they feel some type of way about it. It's not just about, oh, Black men or Black women get more grace than Black men. No, y'all really, like, for real, when it all boils down to it, y'all don't want Black women dating out. You want to keep the number so lopsided to where you have all these different choices, and you have most black women who want you. And you want to be able to choose and leave some of them behind. You want all these women to be fawning over you and you not want them back. Like that's what a lot of Black men want. Really, that's what they want. That's another thing. Tanya says, Black men don't want their resource, Black women, to go anywhere. Right. And they want that fall back plan. They want that come up one just in case it don't work out, this, because colorism is a part of this too, right? They want the most unambiguous dark and brown skinned Black women to be available in case they can't get their preferences. You get what I'm saying? And so if we're exploring our options, we're not there to be the fallback queens. the come up women, right? If we're raising our standards, we're not there to be the come up woman and the woman that they just settled for. So, you know, I can understand why they wouldn't like it. I totally get it. Lacey says, Chrissy, what are your thoughts on the manosphere videos about white men hating on white women dating black men? I haven't seen those videos, but I don't think we have anything to be concerned about when it comes to that. Because let me tell you something, the white men who are interested in black women usually don't care about who white women are sleeping with. So I don't know why black men in the manosphere will be making those kind of videos, because those aren't the kind, and you know, in terms of us swirling, I don't know if they kind of try to connect it to us swirling, but if they are, that has nothing to do with us, because the men who are interested in us don't generally feel, well, I'm gonna say that I'm speak for myself, okay? The men that have been interested in me personally, the non-black men, the white men especially, they're not intimidated by, let me tell you, the thing what you're talking about here, because I kind of know what you're talking about. Those videos where like the white men be feeling some type of way about white women dating black men, those are usually the racist white men, or the white men who strictly prefer white women. And so they're intimidated by their white women getting with black men. The white men who date us, they usually don't have that problem. Okay, because I'm sure they assume that at some point a black woman has been with a black man. And so if they've already reached the point to where, okay, they're willing to date a black woman, you know, they're not worried about, you know, who, you know, what black man that we've been with, you know, so. And they're not worried about who white women have been with either. So I don't think that should be something black women should be concerned about. Jade says, Kendra also went to Hampton. That HBCU conditioning has a lot to do with her mindset. I often see it. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know she went to a HBCU. That makes sense. And, you know, I didn't look it up, but did Nancy Metayor go to a HBCU? I didn't look it up. But yeah, you know, that is part of it too. That pro-black conditioning. That shit is deep. And it definitely encourages black women to keep it black. Oh, she went to FAMU. See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. I'm sorry. I would not, if y'all got young children, I would not encourage them, especially black girls, little black girls. I would not try to encourage them to go to a HBCU. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Because there's too much Blackistan conditioning that goes on there. And that is just one of the prime places that black women are conditioned to become mammies. Nina says, and during slavery, there was a lot of breeding. What exactly do these types of black women think that was? It was systemic of black women by other slaves. So what's the real difference? Yeah, systemic rape of black women by other slaves. Yeah. And so it's like, it's kind of like black women give black men a pass because they were conquered, you know, because they lost the war. They lost the race war. They lost the patriarchal war. And so therefore black women give them a pass on that. But it's like, no, girl, it's still in them to be that way because they're men. And so like, if I'm just saying, if you're going to have that logic, you need to apply it to all men. Yeah, we talked about them at HBCUs, y'all. We talked about how they prime black women to be mammies. Like, that's a real thing, y'all. That's a real thing. Redhead says most HBCU women I know are pro-black man. Yep. To their own detriment. But this isn't me trying to attack Kendra. We don't have no beef, but I'm just saying, like, the women who I brought this up because the women who have her mindset, I challenge you to to unpack it and think about where it comes from, and just think it all the way through and think about if it really makes sense. That's all. That's all. And I think, like, when you really unpack it and you think about it, it's like it really doesn't make a lot of sense because men are pretty much all the same. Like, I get you're upset about what the Europeans did to the ancestors. Today's white men don't have nothing to do with that, sis. They don't have nothing to do with that. And if you can't give a black man a pass for being slaves back then and allowing that shit to happen, literally watching their women get unalived and raped by these Europeans, if you can be okay with that and still sleep with a black man, girl, I don't see the difference. Honestly, I don't. If you can be okay with your black male ancestors selling off other slaves to the Europeans, you know what I mean? Hello? And again, this is not the popular thing to say, but it is what it is. Like, we have to think it all the way through. Like, because basically you're treating these white men like they're, thousands of years old or whatever, hundreds of years old. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that HBCUs are all bad. I know black women who have gone to HBCUs and they've benefited in certain ways. Some of them have found the closest female friendships in college, in their HBCUs or whatever. So I'm not saying it has to be all bad. And there are trade-offs when it comes to PWIs as someone who went to a PWI. So there are trade-offs, you know what I mean? But as far as like, that conditioning, and also, I'm gonna just keep it real. Can we keep it real tonight? I'm gonna always keep it real. When it comes to leveling up in society and getting jobs and careers, there are some employers who may discriminate against you depending on the field that you go into, because you have an HBCU on your resume. That's another thing. I ain't gonna lie. I like having a PWI on my resume just in case. Because you never know. I'm one of those people, like, I have a quote unquote white name too. And, I got my little code switch voice I used to put on for interviews and stuff. PWI, my resume, I always got callbacks. And I could tell they didn't know I was black until I showed up type shit. I'm sorry. Listen, this is a level up channel. I'm telling you what works. I'm telling you what works. And it works better when you got PWI on your resume, okay? Especially if you have a name that don't quote unquote sound black. Just saying. You think I'm gonna tell you the PWI I went to? Absolutely not. Y'all are too fucking nosy on this app. I ain't about to do that. In the past, you might have caught me telling you, what school I went to, but no. But yeah, and I went to a pretty prestigious school in my city, and it works. Like, when I tell people that's where I went to school, they're like, "Oh, really?" So it works. Now I do still got $23,000 in student loans that I'm paying off, which honestly I could give them that lump sum, but I can't do it. Like, I can't just hand you over $23,000. Like, I just can't do that. So I'm just gonna keep paying it down, okay? Baby been paying them student loans for years, honey. They almost paid off though. They almost gone. You know how hard it is just to give them a monthly payment? You think I'm about to hand over a lump sum? I really thought about doing that one time, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I can't do it. Yeah, that's how I feel about the IRS too. Exactly. Girl, low-key, I'm on a payment plan with them too, child. Ooh, girl. I'm paying quarterly taxes now, though. I don't have nothing to worry about now, but I am on a payment plan, girl. Paying for previous years, okay? I'm not giving the IRS a lump sum either. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But girl, when I tell you I don't get tax returns no more, but that comes with being a business owner, girl. It would be nice to get a tax return. Maybe when I get everything paid off and I make sure I pay my quarterly taxes, maybe I will start getting a tax return again. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I just feel like the girls really need to think this all the way through and think about what you're getting out of this. Like, I think Kendra herself, like, she's done well because of the industry that she's in. She's done well catering to Black people. She's been pretty successful. She's made a lot of money. She said she lives in Beverly Hills, so it worked out for her. I'm not saying it can't work. I have a niche channel for dark-skinned Black women. This is a nice little side job for me. So I'm not saying you can't be successful catering to Black people, catering to the Black demographic, but would I necessarily recommend that? No, because it doesn't work out for all women. I think Kendra's rare, even I'm rare to a certain extent. And so I don't know. It just kind of works out. And don't even get me started when it comes to what comes with catering to Black people. Oh, girl, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole different conversation. Like if I knew what I knew now back in when did I start my channel? 20, girl, I don't forgot. What the hell I started my channel? 2016, I really started going hard in the paint doing videos. 2015, 2016. If I would have known then what I know now about the Black community, girl, I probably wouldn't have done this. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I probably would have tried to start YouTube in a different niche and do something else. Because, girl, I didn't expect any of this. Okay. Girl, catering to Black people, girl, it damn near get you hurt. Like, motherfuckers be trying to, like, fucking find where you live and everything. It's just so ghetto catering to Black people. It's so ghetto. And I'm pretty sure Kendra probably has her stories too. So, I just wouldn't recommend putting all of your eggs into the Black basket. And thankfully, I'm anonymous and I haven't done that business-wise. But if I would have known what I know now back then, I wouldn't have done it on YouTube either. Girl, right. They be creating AI versions of you and everything. Like, it's so ghetto catering to Black people. It's ghetto as fuck. Yeah, D9 is Divine 9, the Black 9 fraternities and sororities. Yeah. And girl, let me tell you, like I said, I know some girls that went to HBCUs and they got some horror stories about that too, being in the sororities. So that's another conversation. Again, I think that's a place where you can go to find, some sisterhood, whatever. I've seen Black women find lifelong friends when it comes to sororities, but my grandmother was in a sorority as well, but it's, I've heard some horror stories about that as well. So what my point in saying all of this is that I don't see enough benefit. I don't see where Black women collectively get much out of being pro-Black mammies and, going hard in the paint for Black people. I don't see as a collective where that has gotten Black women or where that has helped us in any significant way as a collective. I mean, we still have, the image that we have as Black people, as Black women. We're still disenfranchised. We still don't hold any significant economic power as Black people, as Black women. I don't see the point of Black women being strictly pro-Black. That's just my opinion. It is what it is. I think it can benefit you in some ways, but, collectively, I don't see where we collectively are benefiting from that. So, yeah. I don't think we're praising those schools, Tennis Barbie. I would never, quote unquote, praise a PWI. I'm telling you, what we're saying is that it's more advantageous. Like it's better. And y'all may not like the way that sounds, but you can't acknowledge that we're in a white supremacist system Okay. And that white people control and run everything, and then get mad when we say that PWIs are more beneficial. They are. Even to Black women, PWIs are more beneficial. And, y'all can bring up, oh, they think y'all are DEI hires. They don't want y'all there. Oh, Black women lost 300,000 jobs. Okay, and are the Black community hiring those 300,000 Black women who lost their jobs? Do they have jobs for those women? Where is the replacement system that these Black women who don't have jobs can go to get a job from their fellow Black person? Where is the alternative system that Black women have to go to? Where is it? Have Black men built that? And so, I mean, y'all can say what you want. And I'm not, again, I said that PWIs have their shortcomings. We're not praising them. But pound for pound, you're going to get further with that PWI on your resume. That's just the truth. So if you don't get anything else out of this conversation, if you have some kids, don't name them no blackety black names. I don't give a fuck how it sounds. Stop naming your children Latoya and Latavia and Dontavius and all that shit. Stop naming your kids that, because you're setting them up to fail. And encourage them to be multicultural and not go to HBCUs. I said what I said. I don't take it back. Get mad. Call me anti-Black. Call me a coon. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you what works. Tennis Barbie, feel free to give me a better solution. I'm open to changing my mind. I've always been open to changing my mind on this channel. Tell me the alternative for Black women. Yeah, and you bring up Ketanji, and she's rare. How many Black women are in Ketanji's position? And you bring up Ketanji, which is so funny. She's married to a white man. Ketanji has a white man. You think he didn't help her get to where she's at? You think that don't look good on Ketanji's resume? You think that ain't part of why they take her seriously, because her man is white? Don't let me get into that. Don't let me get into it, because you're going to get your feelings hurt. You're going to get mad. That helps Ketanji too, her white man, in the system of white supremacy. Exactly. And she went to Harvard. You bring up Ketanji, but she proves my point. She proves exactly what I'm saying. Could Ketanji have made it this far if she didn't go to Harvard? Hello? We're talking about PWIs. You think that didn't help Ketanji get to where she's at? So thank you for proving my point. Kamala, she did go to HBCU. She also married a white man. She's also mixed race, which helps her as well. I mean, listen, we can go down the list of privileges and what helps people level up in society, okay? Yeah, she's not, exactly. Kamala's not even a Black woman. But I get the point that you were making. It's not to say that you can't be successful going to a HBCU. There are several Black women and Black people who have become successful going to HBCUs, y'all. But we are talking about the everyday average person. We can't be bringing up all of these rare cases. We got to talk about the collective and what typically works for the everyday average Black person. The everyday average Black person is not Ketanji. Yeah, her name definitely sounds ethnic, for sure. And again, I'm not saying you can't get by with the ethnic name. I'm not saying you can't level up with the ethnic name. My point is, what is more beneficial for the collective, y'all? What's more beneficial for the collective? For the everyday average Black person, the everyday average Black woman, we're talking about the everyday average Black woman. Is she going to benefit more from having LaTanya or Bukisha on her resume? Or is it going to benefit her more if you name her Kristen or Amber or Rachel or Lisa? I'm just being honest here. Like, and if you can't have an honest conversation about this, I don't know what to tell y'all. Oh, they gonna have to be mad. This is a level up channel. This is not, say what you want to hear to make you feel better. This is a level up channel. I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you what realistically is gonna work for most Black people and most Black women especially. HBCU grads know it's easier to level up with white new money than stick to Black old money. Do they? Well, I'm glad. If that's true, I'm glad. But I know that some HBCUs or HBCU grads, some of them tend to feel like they have to be strictly pro-Black. But maybe you're right. Yeah, Chantella, your name sounds a little bit ethnic. But I know people who, if their middle name sounds a little less ethnic, that's what they put on their resume, or they put a nickname on there that kind of sounds like their full name. So there are ways to get around that too. If you happen to have an extremely ethnic or quote unquote ghetto name, there are ways to get around that. Oh, I'm sorry. Minzy, is that how you say your name? Metayor? Oh, wow. Nancy was my cousin. She sacrificed so much for her community and her family. I hate that her husband's actions are trying to overshadow her legacy. Yeah. And that's what he wanted. And I hate that. I hate that for her. But, we're going to remember her for, the community advocate that she was, that's who she was. It's just sad that, he took away her future. And I'm sorry for your loss. And my condolences go out to you and your family. Yeah, I agree. I mean, my PWI wasn't bad either. It was pretty mixed though. Like it wasn't just, I think obviously it was mostly white people because PWI obviously, but it was enough Black people there, or people of color there for me not to feel just completely, feel like an oddball, But yeah, y'all can get mad that's just what it is. But anyway, let's move on to Leslie Jones. Finally, let's move on to Miss Leslie, and I'm sure we'll revisit that topic again as far as PWIs versus HBCUs and using different strategies to level up. I'm willing to visit that conversation again in the future. Okay, so let's move on to Leslie. So Leslie went on this podcast with Z-Way. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And honestly, when I saw this, the video that they did together or the skit or whatever it was, like, I didn't take it seriously because it was like a joke. It was supposed to be funny, at least I thought. But I'm seeing that people are taking this seriously, like the manosphere is taking it seriously. And maybe, there were some serious moments. But I didn't take it as seriously as most people did. But since people are taking it seriously, I want to talk about some of the responses. So first, we're going to play the clip and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
You like a powerful man.
I do.
So a dominant to your submissive.
I'm not submissive.
Could you be a trad wife is what I'm asking.
Trad wife meaning like I'd be at home and take, no.
Like making Oreos from scratch.
I don't absolutely not.
Why not?
Because that's not who the I am. And my daddy didn't raise me like that.
To be a trad wife.
To be anybody's wife. My dad used to literally say that to me. I didn't raise you to be somebody's wife.
That's so brave.
I don't know if it's brave or smart. Most of the people that I know that's gotten married are divorced now.
And so, really, that's an indictment of the institution.
Yeah. I think marriage is legalized slavery.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Say more, because if I'm thinking about slavery and I'm thinking about marriage, there are two different images that come
Absolutely
into my head.
not. I don't know how you don't. A man is, especially if he's expecting you to be a trad wife, you might as well pull out a whip and a chain.
Wow. So there are young people watching who might be wanting to get married. What would you say to them?
Don't.
Don't get married.
No.
Okay.
Oh, God, you are crazy.
How am I crazy?
You are crazy.
You're saying that marriage is a...
No, I don't believe in the marriage. No, I don't.
So you wouldn't get married?
No, and I don't think it's beneficial for a woman at all.
Okay, so that's what Leslie had to say. And like I said, if you watch the whole video, which is only like 20 minutes long, it seemed very like satirical. It seemed like more satire to me. And I think not too long ago, I think Leslie was on another interview saying that she wanted to get married. So again, I don't know if she changed her mind or if this was just a joke, and she was just kind of going along with the show or whatever. I don't know. Right. It seemed very unserious to me too. But the niggas, they taking it seriously. The niggas took it seriously. I don't know if they just don't understand satire or what. I don't know. But oh, was she married before? Was she? Janie says, I think Leslie Jones was married before, like 10 years to an older man. Really? Right. That's how I took it too, Josie. I didn't take this seriously. But the niggas are mad. I saw a bunch of like videos, especially from the manosphere. I was like, oh, they big mad because she's telling women not to get married. Yeah, Candy said she's making fun of a trending topic. That's how I took it. I was like, girl, this is the joke because everybody's talking about trad wives and stuff or whatever. But let's just say she was serious, y'all. Let's just say she was serious, okay? First, what Leslie said about her father raising her not to be a man's wife, if that's true, that's very telling. Right? That tells us that it's not just Black women raising Black women to be strong, independent women, but Black men clearly are too. If she was right. If she was being serious, I should say. But I think this is especially true for Black men raising dark-skinned girls. I am willing to bet that if this is true, I'm willing to bet that Leslie's father, in part, is the reason why she's so masculine, that she's so masculine presenting. He probably knew that she wasn't going to be the preference for a lot of Black men. So he raised her to never depend on a man and basically become the man, become the man herself. So I think, if she was being honest about that could have been, why that could be why she's like so masculine, and also why she's so self-deprecating, because that's one of the things that I really never liked about Leslie Jones' brand of comedy. She is so self-deprecating, and I hate that about her comedy. Yeah, and so that could have something to do with how she was raised. Yeah. Now, as far as the responses to this, though, I saw the girls on TikTok, defending marriage and saying that not all women in marriages are slaves and some are happily married and living the soft life. And I definitely agree with that. I know women in my personal life who seem to have great husbands. They are definitely not slaves in their marriage. My mother wasn't a slave in any of her marriages, honey. She was not. But what I will say is that marriage is statistically more laborious for women. More like women put in more labor in relationships, especially if they are mothers and they work a full-time job, and most women do, right? But not only do they have to work, but they also do most of the work around the house and most of the parenting. And I repeat that a lot to emphasize that the output of labor is typically not equal in these relationships between women and men. And it's okay for women not to want that. It's okay for women have to want to opt out of that. And I think that many married women on the internet trying to shame women into wanting that just because they want it or just because they are in it and they are miserable in it and they can't get out. To me, they are just as bad as the Leslie Jones of the world who are saying that all married women are slaves. It just feels like, and I've said this before, but it feels like two extreme ends of the conversation when I hear it, because no happily single woman is going to try to convince all married women that they're slaves, right? And no happily married woman is going to try to convince all single women on the internet day in and day out to get married because they are. Or they're not going to try to shame single women for not being married when they don't want to be. It just screams miserable to me from both sides. And I never really understand women who try to force their lifestyle onto other women. And to me, it just gives buyer's remorse when women spend all their time doing that. It gives that you really don't like your life and you're trying to, misery loves company. So you're trying to get other women, you're trying to recruit other women to be unhappy with you. And this is why it was very important when I did the lifestyle series to invite women who lived all kind of different lifestyles, child-free, housewife, career women. Like, I wanted to represent everybody because it's like, I wanted to show Black women there's not just one way to live happily. You can live happily without a man. You can live happily as a housewife. You can live happily as a career woman. You can live happily child-free. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to put different lifestyles on a hierarchy. You know what I mean? And I feel like happy women support women, no matter if they have a man or not, as long as they are happy and they're living well. You know what I mean? And I've said it time and time again, but women need to respect each other's choices, even if they are different from our own. And I know somebody might say, oh, well, Chrissy, you don't respect hypogamy. Well, yeah, because 9 times out of 10, hypogamy hurts women and children. Being single is better than a hypogamy, okay? So I will always be pro hypergamy and push for that because it's safer. It's more, it's safer and it's more comfortable for women and children. But on the flip side, like I said earlier, if a woman is happily hypogamous and her man is helping her around the house and parenting like he's supposed to, and, he cooks and he does all the things, and it's really a partnership, then I respect that. As long as, she's not trying to shit on hypergamy because she's not hypergamous, I'm cool with that. But yeah, y'all need to start respecting other women's choices. Like, you don't have to support women who only live like you. Like, that's unrealistic. And by the way, I saw this the other day. Like, I think a hypogamous relationship that actually seems to looks like it works anyway from the outside is Trisha Paytas and her husband Moses. I think they're a good example of a seemingly successful hypogamous relationship. Trisha Paytas and Moses. And the reason why I bring them up is because not too long ago, she came on my algorithm and she was talking about all the things her man did for her. And she was like, it was like a trend going on, something about how my man does this and your man doesn't, or something like that. I forget the name of the trend. Y'all can put it in the chat if you know it. But she was basically going on and on about how much her husband does for her and how he cooks for her and he takes care of the children. And, while she's on the road working, he takes care of the children. He cooks, he takes care of the home. And that's a rare scenario. That's the rare case scenario. That's not, to me, that's rare for men to do that. But if you're going to be hypogamous, then that he should be doing that. Exactly. Black Butterfly says, as he should. Exactly. If she's making all the money. And I know in that video, she conveniently skipped over the fact that she pays most of the bills, that she's the breadwinner. But there were people in the comments that put it there for her. They're like, yeah, well, if you're paying all the bills, then he should be doing that. Right? So, I don't know if Trisha's racist or not. I don't watch her content, but I know that she came up on my algorithm And that's how I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, well then this looks like something that actually works out. Cause I scrolled through her account and I did see her husband cooking and doing all the things with the kids and stuff. I was like, okay, well, that sounds like it works. That sounds like a hypogamous relationship that works. And so if you're going to be hypogamous, it needs to be like that. You need to be with a man who's not jealous of your career, not jealous of you being in the spotlight, takes care of the kids, cooks, cleans. I think he puts together furniture and all this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, Jackie Anna might be another one. I don't know too much about her marriage, but yeah. Is she in a hypogamous marriage? I don't even remember. But yeah, I think she is. So that works too. So it's like I think that hypogamy can work. I'm not saying that it can't work and that it doesn't work for every single woman. That's not what I'm saying, right? But I'm saying, like we talked about earlier, when it comes to what usually works the best, okay? On average. Okay. Oh, you said Jackie claims that isn't. Okay, so we won't say her relationship is hypogamous. That's what I said. I wasn't really sure about that one. Because I really didn't watch her and her husband from the beginning, so I don't know. But I remember Trisha Paytas back in the day. I do remember her. Because she had said something about black men one time. I remember doing a video on her years ago. But yeah, I'm kind of familiar with the early days of Trisha. So yeah. Yeah, that's why I said I don't, Trisha actually came out and said something about her relationship. Jackie didn't, so I won't speak too much on hers. But if it is hypogamous, it seems to be working. And so I'm not saying that it can't work, y'all. Okay? Yeah, Jadam says if you make a significant amount of money, hypogamy can absolutely work. Yeah. And I'm not saying I haven't seen it work, but am I going to push for that? Am I going to promote that? No. Because on average, it does not work, especially for Black women. It does not work. Yeah. And I know that, like I said earlier about Gigi Beauty getting a divorce, come to find out she was paying all the bills. I think she said that. And basically she insinuated that she was taking care of most of the financial burden in the relationship. And you see how that went. So it's just like, I can't sit here and co-sign hypogamy and push for it and encourage it because I've seen it I've seen too many situations where it does not work. But I will acknowledge that in some cases it does. And I say all that to say that if a woman is not, it's very risky, exactly. But I say all that to say that if a woman is not being abused, if she's happy, and she doesn't necessarily live a lifestyle that I would live, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not going to be on here like harassing her for her choices, for her romantic choices. I think that's ridiculous. And I think that kind of indicates when women do that, I think that indicates their unhappiness. I think that shows that they feel like they're lacking in some area because they want to try to force other women to live like them. So I don't agree with that. And so, that's kind of where I agree with the women who were critiquing Leslie on TikTok. Like, I get it. You don't want another woman to make you feel like your choices are wrong just because they wouldn't do it. If they're happy, they're happy. You can't sit there and convince a housewife that she's unhappy and she's a slave if she does not experience that and she does not feel that way. Just like you can't convince me as a single woman that I actually want to live with a man and be married. You can't convince me right now at this moment that I will be happier that way because I genuinely don't feel that way. Like, girl, I need to be free, okay? I need my freedom. I need my space. So you cannot convince me. You can shame me all day long. You can say I'm old and, I'm what do they call me? A spinster and I'm going to be a cat lady. You can say all that all day. But me personally, I'm never going to feel that because I personally am happy being alone and I'm happy being single and dating. I can't say that I'm alone. I am dating. My dating life is always chaotic because I'm a Gemini Venus. So, it's always all over the place. So I can't say that I'm alone or lonely. But I I don't like sleeping in a bed with a man. I don't want to live with a man. And there's nothing that a married woman who lives with a man can say to convince me that I want that, because I don't want that at this point in time. Yeah, Nika, it's very peaceful. It's very peaceful. Candy says, actually, I'm a plant lady. I know that's right. You know, I can't be a cat lady. I can't have animals because honestly, girl, they're too much like having kids. I can't have animals. I can barely take care of plants. Girl, what was that plant I had? Because my mama and my sister, they got a bunch of plants. Girl, I entertained that idea for a while, but I think I had some peace lilies, some Easter lilies or something. Girl, I couldn't even keep them motherfuckers alive. I said, no, ma'am. I'll just stick with my little fake plants, girl. I couldn't take care of one plant, okay? Too much like children, like plants, animals, they too much like kids, girl. I can't, I don't have time for that. And I always said that if I get another house, I would want to like do a garden. I specifically want to plant herbs. Like in my mind, like I think that's a good idea, but girl, I don't know. I might have to hire somebody to do it because I don't have faith in myself that I'll keep the herbs alive. I don't have faith in myself. Girl, I'm just not I'm not mother material, okay? I like the idea of that though. And animals especially are like kids. Like, girl, the shit I be seeing people go through in my life that got freaking animals, that's crazy. You got to take them to the vet. Oh, God forbid they get sick and they get cancer or something. Then you got to mourn a fucking animal. Like they're a person. Like they're like, that's crazy to me. Why would I voluntarily put myself through that? No, ma'am. No. You sit over here distraught and depressed because you gotta put your cat down or your dog down because he got a tumor or something. Girl, hell no. Luiana, my moon sign is Aries. Yeah. So maybe it's the impatience there, you know, when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just I can't do it. I can't do it. But I think it's important for you to know if you're not that kind of person. You know, I know I'm not mother material. I know I'm not, you know, the type of person that should live with a man. I know I'm not, because I would be a straight up bitch. I would probably be a bad mom and everything else. So it's good. Like when women say they don't want kids, I think you should be okay with that, because there's a lot of women out here who are having kids that really didn't want them. Let's clock that to you. A lot of women out here got married, had kids because society told them to, or because they were pressured into doing so from their family, and they don't even want that shit. And so they treat their kids like shit. They treat their husband like shit. They don't want to clean the house because they're fucking overwhelmed. So the house is fucking dirty. Girl. So you should actually be proud of women like me who say, hey, I am not that type. I wouldn't be good at that kind of stuff. So I'm just not going to do it. Instead of trying to force women to live a lifestyle that they wouldn't be good at or that they don't want, just accept that everybody's not going to have that life. Everybody doesn't want that life. So yeah, anyway, that's all I had to say on that. Leave Leslie alone. Like I said, I think maybe some of it was, I think most of this was satire, okay? I don't even think most of it was real. But, you know, since people are taking it seriously, I wanted to give my 2 cents. But I think that Black people also need to get better at learning when something is a joke and when people are being satirical and not really being serious. So that's another thing. Y'all need to like get over it. But I wish the best for Leslie. I do. So I wanted to talk about a couple of videos, and this is kind of old, But I'm just now getting around to it. A couple of videos on TikTok that I saw that I thought were interesting from these modern men who are telling on themselves. And I think that if you are a young woman and you are in the dating market, you need to really be careful when it comes to some of these men. And you need to listen to what these men are saying and take heed. So this is the first clip.
I don't know if you girls knew this, but the guys have two separate types. They have like their dating / marriage type and then their cracking type. For instance, for me, my cracking type would be like a little bit of a shorter girl with like a fat butt. But my wife type would be like a taller, pretty girl, maybe not that fat of an ass. And it sucks so bad whenever like your cracking type actually has a good personality. Like, fuck, like, dude, she's got a good pub, but like, she's just not my marrying type. Like, I'm gonna cut her off eventually. And it fucking sucks. So if that guy just randomly cuts you off, but it seemed like he fucked with you, he probably does, but he just doesn't see you in like the future.
And y'all wonder why women don't want to get married. I mean, if you needed any reason, like, and this video got millions of views on TikTok, y'all. But I'm happy that these young men especially are exposing themselves on social media, basically showing you how a lot of men already think and how they've been thinking for a very long time. A lot of men have this Madonna horror complex that he's basically exhibiting here. But they're showing young women why they should not date them or entertain them at all romantically, right? And what he said is why I constantly warn Black women against being the placeholder, because men will absolutely sleep with you and even date you until they find the woman that they really want to settle down with. And this especially applies to Black men and thick Black women, and especially dark-skinned Black women. A lot of them will run through a bunch of big booty Black women until they find the woman they want to settle down with. So if you are a part of the big booty committee like myself, you need to be very wary of this, because men will do this, right? And even if they marry you, that still doesn't necessarily mean that you're their first choice. It could just mean that you're the safest option. Like he said, he likes the big booty girl. That's who he's attracted to. But he would marry the woman that he's not even sexually attracted to. And this is why the men end up cheating with who they really want. And this goes back to what I said about these miserable wives on social media. There's a lot of miserable wives online now bashing single women because deep down they probably know that they're being settled for by their husbands. Okay, they probably know that their husband is just like this nigga right here and really didn't want them like that, wasn't attracted to them sexually. He's over there jacking off to corn that looks nothing like her because that's not his physical type. Yeah. And so I am glad that the men are telling on themselves. And it's interesting because in the manosphere spaces and red pill spaces, we often hear about women who will date what they call it, the Chads, right? They will date the Chads, but then marry the Brads. I think that's what it is. Like the Chads are the hot guys, right? The jocks and the football guys and the basketball guys on the basketball team and all this stuff, right? And then they'll marry the Brads, the guys who are like marriage material, right? So it's not to say that it's just men who do this, it's women who do this too, right? But we never really hear about it on the man side. And we don't hear about it on the man side because even in this comment section, the video's still up. You can go back to it. Just type in two separate types on TikTok. But the men are in the comments like, "What, dude, why are you telling our secrets? Like, why you telling the girls? Like, you supposed to keep this to yourself." So it's like, this is something that is not talked about often, but we always hear the men talking about the female version of it, where they date the Chads or they have sex with the Chads and they marry the Brads. Well, men have their own version of that, which is many of us already knew that. We've been talking about this for years. And it's so funny because when I say, hey, ladies, Black men especially are using you as the come up woman. You're not really the woman they prefer. They just, want to sleep with you and settle for you until they can get what they want. Or marry you because you're the best thing that they can get. And when I say it, I'm telling dark-skinned women that nobody wants them, and I'm, fear mongering or whatever the fuck y'all accuse me of. But then this man says it, and now everybody's like, oh, wow. So it's like sometimes a man has to say the same thing that a woman says for y'all to believe it. And I'm glad the men are saying it. I'm glad they're saying it now. But yeah, and I want to say this isn't usually something men grow out of when they're older. They just marry the nice girl and cheat with the women that they're sexually attracted to until they grow old and they get erectile dysfunction or some other disease. And then they're on nigga podcasts like Clifton Powell talking about how they just learn how to love at 70 years old. That's usually how it goes. But, this is why this man here, this is why women should never feel bad about having preferences. And this is why I will never feel bad about having a type for high earning men, because men, as we can see, they have their own preferences as well. And if you're a woman who has a sexual or physical preference for one kind of man, but your husband type is different, don't feel bad about that, because men are the same way. Now, I don't recommend that you get on TikTok and you announce it like this dumb nigga did. I recommend that you keep that to yourself, okay? Because, you don't want to share that kind of stuff online publicly or with men you're dating, because that may fuck up your prospects. Because this young man here, he probably talked himself out of a lot of pussy. For the women who saw it, he probably talked himself out of a lot of ass. A lot of those big booty girls that he's just sleeping with until he finds his wife, he probably talked himself out of a lot of pussy, a lot of fat ass, because he ran his mouth too fucking much. I'm glad that he did, but y'all don't be like him. Because, any smart woman who is his sexual type and saw this video shouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. So it is very stupid to say this kind of shit out loud, but don't feel bad, ladies, if you have two separate types, because this is more common than you think in both genders, not just women. And I would say it's more common with men because of the Madonna whore complex, like we talked about earlier. Like, for men, they can't see like the woman that they're sexually attracted with in the same type or in the same way that they see the woman that they want to marry. It's like they can't exist in one woman in their minds. The XYs are fucked up in that regard. Women, we can see it. It's just that usually they don't exist in the same man. I talked about catch print in the last live stream. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. But a lot of men, they don't want to marry the women they have all these crazy sexual fantasies with, because in their eyes, she's not respectable or good enough for his family and his friends and his colleagues. So instead of marrying the big booty girl, they like to, that gets them sexually aroused, they go for the wholesome woman, and then they cheat on them with the women they have a stronger attraction to, or they jack off to them watching porn. No, I'm keeping this nigga face up here because y'all need to see what he look like. I think that adds to the conversation. That kind of drives the point home, because look at his face. Yeah, avoid niggas like this. I think he's mixed. Half niggas like this. Avoid all of them like this. But, and I will say, the men who don't have this complex, they tend to be the men with a secure attachment style that don't need to separate love and lust, and they just choose both in one woman. There are men out there like that. And also men who are, less occupied with what other people think and, are less focused on social approval. And the men I don't see this complex so much in are those who have less pressure on them to perform socially. And in my experience, this is just my experience, those are typically men who are entrepreneurial and they're their own boss for the most part and have less people to answer to, which is another reason why, personally, as a sage woman, that's my archetype, that's my primary archetype, right? I prefer the businessman archetype or the boss archetype in men, because they're usually free from that stuff to a certain extent. Now, obviously, men in any field can have this complex or not have it, right? But you get my point when I say that. Men who have types be DL too, but that's another story. Oh, that's a good point. And also, I have to say this, as a woman who's dating white men currently, I can tell you that white men who seriously date black women and who are looking to marry a black woman or who are interested in marrying them, they are like renegades in their community, right? So they have to have a level of I don't give a fuck about society standards to a certain extent if they're with a black woman. So they tend to be less image conscious many times, less than, a lot of high earning black men. So I think we should think about that as well. But yeah, regardless of race, there are a lot of men who think like this man here, this young man here. And that's definitely something you should look out for if you're interested in partnering with men for marriage and to start a family. Choose wisely. Make sure you're choosing wisely. And I think you need to choose a man who has a secure attachment style that is okay with marrying his physical type, his sexual type, and his marriage type, his wife type in one woman. So this all goes back to vetting men, and you need to make sure you know how to really understand your man's sexual type. I think that's important to know. It's important to know your man's sexual type and wife type, and if he's willing to deal with both in the same woman. That's very important. Nikia says, looking at their social media will tell you so much about who they are and the mindset regarding women. Travis Kelce, that is a good example. Sexual versus marrying type. Very much so. Yeah, you want to ask them questions, and you want to ask them questions and make them feel comfortable with telling you what their sexual type is and their sexual fantasy is. And you need to do that without being judgmental. So you're going to have to figure out a way to come across when you're asking men what their type is and what they like sexually without coming across judgmental, so they'll feel comfortable enough to open up to you. So that means don't make any weird faces when you're asking them questions, and make sure you make them feel understood. And after they tell you, don't be like, oh my God, that's what you're into. It's like, oh, really? Really? Well, so what do you like about that? Or what about that turns you on? And say it in a way that's not judgy. And I'm telling you, when you do that, men will just open up. Like, they'll just be like, oh, well, because they'll feel more comfortable telling you their sexual fantasies and what they like. But you can't come across judgy about it, because that's when men tend to like close up and not tell. And see, honestly, this is why a lot of y'all need to listen to the sex workers, because they could teach you a little something about doing that. Because that's why a lot of men go to sex workers, because they don't feel judged about their fantasies. I think that's part of, my Gemini personality. I know how to be the sex worker and the serious girl. I know how to be that all in one. So it's like, you got to learn how to like tap into different archetypes within yourself to get with the information that you need out of men. Because they will lie. They will sit there and tell you something that's not true because they don't want you to judge them. I have videos on this, but they're behind a paywall. I have a whole series on how to vet men and how to get this information out of them. And I don't feel comfortable giving all that publicly. I just don't, because, girl, I don't feel like being harassed for that. But there are ways to pull shit out of men. There are ways to pull out the truth. And again, you have to be nosy too. Like somebody said, looking at their social media, you got to find that little folder, if they have one, of all their, naked pictures of women. And I mean, you can even go as far as, being like, let's watch some porn together. What kind of porn do you like to watch? And that'll give you some feedback. That'll give you some insight on what he likes too. And if he sees that you're like into corn, that may make you, I watch corn. Okay. I watch it. So It's easy for me to be like, ask a man to be like, what are you into? Let's watch it together. And they'll be like, oh, you like corn? Okay, well then I'll tell you what I like. I like this video. Well, send me what you like. What's your fantasy? What do you like to do? There are ways to get that information out of men. But you got to come across like you're open to it. Even if you're not. See, that's what I'm saying. That ain't none of your business. Oh, I highlighted the wrong comment. See, this is how y'all be trying to get me caught up right here. M3. What do you watch, Chrissy? I'm trying to see something. See, that's how y'all be trying to get me caught up. I'm not going to tell you what I watch, but I will say this is a variety of things. I don't like just one thing. You would be surprised. I'm very open-minded. And I think that's probably why I'm able to get that kind of stuff out of men, because I'm open-minded myself. Like, I don't necessarily even have to be turned on to watch a certain type of corn. You know what I mean? I'll just be like, oh, I wonder what they be doing in over here in this fetish category. Let me click on this and see what this is. Cause I'm nosy like that. I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. No, I'm not into BDSM, actually. No. I don't actually watch too much of that. You know, but now that you say that, I'm probably going to look it up and be like, let's see what they're doing over here. Oh, Miss Kelly. Oh, my God. Okay. Are y'all trying to turn this into a Chrissy After Dark? I have watched that before, but I don't just be searching that and watching it. That was one of those moments where I was curious and like, let me see what they be doing over here. Y'all are hilarious. I have watched that though before. Yeah, every live turns into Chrissy After. You're gonna have to look it up, Miss Concrete Rose. I'm not about to describe. Okay, I'll say it's scissoring. That's what that is. Y'all are so funny. No, I'm not gonna make this private. Listen, I'm not ashamed. Those of you who've been here, you know I'm a freak. Like, I'm not embarrassed by that. I'm a very sexual person. We're not gonna do that. But regardless of all that, when it comes back to this, we're gonna bring it back around to the topic, okay? Men are telling you in your faces what their preferences are. So at this point, y'all can't be making excuses talking about how you can't vet men and how, they not telling you the truth. They are telling us to our faces now. Men are announcing this shit online at this point. So there's no reason for you to keep falling for the bullshit. They're telling you now, like, there's not a bunch of games you got to play to figure out what they think. No, they're pretty much just telling you what they want at this point and what they like. And this is why I actually appreciate the men who are honest about their preferences so that women can act accordingly, especially unambiguous dark-skinned women, okay? I like for colorist men especially to be loud so we know who's who. And I noticed that when women listen to what men say about what they like and we avoid them, they try to backtrack, so they can still have access. No, don't let them do that, ladies. Because I noticed that with the colorism conversation. After all these black men said they don't like dark-skinned women, and dark-skinned women like me started telling other dark-skinned women, okay, well, they don't like you, so these men are colorists. They're just using you for sex. Stop fucking with colorist men. Now that more of y'all are doing that, and now that the word has spread, now they're trying to some of them are changing what they were saying. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, well, we always love dark-skinned women. We just don't like black women with attitude, or we don't like fat dark-skinned women, or we don't like ugly dark-skinned women, or we don't like dark-skinned women who are single mothers. Like, they're trying to make it everything than what it is. When we know what you said, nigga. Back then, you wasn't mentioning nothing about weight. You wasn't mentioning nothing about being ugly. You said you didn't like dark-skinned women, period. That's all you said. So we took you at your word. So, now they're trying to backtrack. So if men start trying to backtrack, no. We heard what you said. So, I predict that if more men admit to what this man said in this video, I expect them to eventually backtrack. Either after, more women start to say, hey, well, I think after more women kind of catch on to it and they start talking more about it, then the men will backtrack. And then when women start withholding pussy because of it, they're probably going to come back just like the colorist men and be like, oh, well, see, ladies, that's not what we meant. What we meant was we had two separate types in the same woman. That's what we had meant. No, you meant what you said. So don't let them change it, ladies. But I noticed that men do that. They like add on some shit they never said to make it seem like that's not what they meant when we heard what you said. And again, I saw a lot of men under this guy's video like, dude, why are you telling our secret? So, a lot of men think like this, but they don't want women to know because they know it's a turnoff to women and they would lose sexual access. And they're right. They're right about that. But I'm glad they're exposing themselves because now we can stop pretending that women are the only ones who have different types of men for different purposes or who change our type in men when we mature and we get older. We're not the only ones who do that. Men do it too. So, yeah, that was my point of that clip. And then I wanted to bring up this other clip too. Again, men telling on themselves. Well, first, here it is.
So I got ghosted by a girl because I said I didn't like the idea of a stay-at-home wife. Not even a stay-at-home mom. If I have enough money to do that, I'll do that, right? But you mean to tell me that I'm wrong for wanting my future partner to achieve things and not just have their whole life boil down to staying at home and being taken care of by a man? Like, is that so wrong?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, men, especially black men, they want strong, independent women. They don't want housewives, ladies. This is not what they want. Now, they will resent you once they get that, but that is not what they want. And I showed this clip to prove that black men, they are very feminist-minded, right? And they pretend to be traditional men and they shame black women for not being traditional, but they are not traditional either. Black men want strong, independent, successful women, but they hate the autonomy that comes with it. They hate the accolades and the recognition that comes with it. And this guy was also in his comments because people were like, okay, well, you guys just don't want the same thing. That's fine. But he was also in his comments saying that he doesn't have a problem with stay-at-home moms because they're actually raising children. But I don't believe that his desire for a woman with her own money and career and or education is going to change just because she has kids. Most black men want 50-50 relationships. So all this talk about them being traditional and wanting trad wives is cap, y'all. It's all cap. Their whole outrage about Leslie Jones saying that, she doesn't want to be a trad wife. Girl, they don't want trad wives. So who cares? Who cares that Leslie Jones doesn't want to be a trad wife? They don't want them anyway. Okay? And let's be real. Most modern men in general, they don't want women to be stay-at-home mothers. They don't want housewives. They look down on those women. They think they're lazy. And they prefer women who work and have their own thing. I think looks are the first thing that matter with men, obviously looks. But when it comes to choosing what woman he wants to be with long term, most men today want a woman who has something going for herself outside of looks. And black men especially want women who work. They do. So all this shaming they're doing online, talking about, oh, you're not traditional enough. We want trad wives. We want traditional women. No, they don't, y'all. Stop letting these niggas lie to you. They don't. Even Kevin Samuel's whole platform. What do you bring to the table? I think Kevin Samuel said himself that he wanted a woman who spoiled him, that he likes getting spoiled. He likes getting gifts. A$AP Rocky said he wants to be a bad bitch. These niggas don't want trad wives. So while they're shaming you for not being one, that's not actually what they want, ladies. And so when these men talk, listen to them. Yeah. And if you want a traditional man and you want to be a housewife at some point, you need to stay away from men like this. Oh, yeah, they want a provider. I should have added that guy on TikTok who was wearing the shirt. What did that fucking shirt say? Soft life. Was it something about how men are living a soft life? I forget what the t-shirt said. Soft guy era. That's what it was. When that was real popular on TikTok, it was the soft guy era. They were soft guys and they were trying to like, basically bite off the soft girl era and be like, oh, we're soft guys and we like to get spoiled by men. It's the soft guy era. So that's what Black men are online talking about. And they're also online complaining about having to be providers. I talked about that in a previous video, how they're actually online talking about how being a provider is a scam. Yet there are all these other men online talking about how women aren't traditional anymore and modern women this and modern women that, and they don't want to be wives and mothers and they don't want to be trad wives when they actually don't want them. And I feel like a lot of modern men really don't know what they want. They really don't. Yeah, that's another one. Black boy joy. That is another one. Yeah, they do. They want men, and then we'll get mad. They will say that they, want to have the soft guy era or the soft life, and they want women to spoil them. And then when they get that, then the woman is too masculine, and then she's not soft enough. She's not feminine enough. So it's like, again, they don't know what they want. These men want a real man. They do. They do. Thank you for the super chat, Chocolate. Amber says most Black men never saw their mothers being taken care of. They're used to seeing Black men mule away at 3+ jobs. Yes. So yeah, I don't believe them. I don't think anybody, and I'm not even saying that all the women, Black women or women in general, necessarily want to be traditional either. I think we're past that as a society. I think that both men and women, they may want, some type of, I guess, some type of traditionalist relationship. Like, what did I call it before? I think it was contemporary traditional. I forget what I labeled it in the past. If you guys remember, you can tell me. But I just feel like there should be a new term. I don't think either gender truly wants a 100% traditional relationship or a trad wife or a trad husband. Like, even the trad wives online, girl, they're working. They're making money from their content. They're not trad wives. Those are working women, babe. They're content creators. Nara Smith is a content creator. Most of these, quote unquote trad wives that y'all be talking, they're business women. Ballerina Farm, that's a businesswoman. That girl is not no damn trad wife. The fuck? So it's like, girl, stop playing these games, and the men, most of them don't want that. They don't want a woman who strictly raises the children and just does work around the house. Hell yeah, social media is work, girl. When I'm actually consistent on YouTube, girl, this is it's like a second full-time job. It's a lot of work. Exactly. Nara Smith was never a trad wife because she was a working model. Yeah, she was never a trad. And I think she rejected that label too. She came out saying, yeah, I'm not a trad wife. Like, stop calling me that. Yeah, Black Butter Breeze says Ballerina Farms is a whole ass baby factory. Yeah, and she having a lot of kids, but she's still a businesswoman. Ballerina Farms is a business. It's literally a business. They have a store and everything. And again, she works online. She's a content creator. That's work. So yeah, don't let these people fool you. It's not just the women who are modern and don't want to be traditional. The men don't either. Like, we need to go away with that term. Like, nobody, either gender, they don't want traditionalism anymore. Not 100% traditionalism. They may want some type of semblance of, a traditional relationship. They may want parts of traditionalism. They may want aspects of it. I think both genders are guilty of that. But they don't want 100% traditionalism. Yeah, I think that's what I called it too, Selena. Neo-traditional. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Neo-traditionalism. Exactly. That's not like what the people want, whether it's male or female, is not real traditionalism. It's not. So I'm tired of like men, especially coming on here shaming women for not wanting to be traditional. Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want trad wives. Yep, they just want submission. That's exactly what it is. Exactly. Yeah, I saw that. I saw where it was some controversy with her milk or something. Then I saw it was some controversy with her cutting board or something, child. I could not be an influencer for real. I know I'm a YouTuber, but I couldn't be like a lifestyle influencer because they be going through too much for me. Like, it'd be too much controversy and too many scandals. I don't have time for that. I couldn't deal with it. And then I don't know, like, it seems like, now granted, I don't watch all of Ballerina Farm's content. I really don't. But it seems like her audience don't like her because like every time I look at her comment section, it's like it'd be people like being mean in the comments. I'm like, dang, y'all just be following this lady to talk shit. Like, it's just crazy. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with it. They mad at her for having another baby. It's all kind of shit. Like, I'd be like, dang, y'all do not like them white ladies do not like Ballerina Farm. They don't like her. And it's a lot of the feminists who don't like her. And it started out with that hit piece that feminist did. I forget what magazine she was writing for, but yeah, it kind of started with that because they were saying how she, basically what Leslie Jones was saying, how she was pretty much a slave in her relationship and how she didn't fulfill her dreams of being a ballerina because she had all these kids. But I honestly think she wanted both. I think she wanted both, so she did both. Personally, like, that's what I think. Yeah, the white ladies, woo, them white feminists especially, they are vicious. They are. You said Ballerina Farm doesn't see the money. Well, who sees it? What do you mean she don't see the money? Is something you know that I don't know? Well, is it going to her husband? Is that what you're saying? Girl, see, I don't know nothing about that. I don't watch enough of her to know all that, but I just know she be working. I know she ain't no damn trad wife. She performs being a trad wife online, but she ain't no damn trad wife. Yeah, so that's that on that. These men are not traditional. Stop letting them lie to you. That was the point I wanted to make there. And then we're just going to end with some corrective promotion. Now, I can't play this video because I'm pretty sure I would get a copyright strike. Or not a strike, but I would get a copyright notice and then I wouldn't be able to monetize my live stream. But one of my supporters, shout out to you. I forget your name, otherwise I would shout you out. But she sent me this video from Momo Boyd. And I like Momo. I listen to her music. I don't know. Is she considered pop? I don't know what genre she would be considered in, but I just thought this was the cutest corrective promotion. If you guys get a chance after this video, definitely go watch this music video. It's called, I know, Sweetheart something. Let me look it up. I wish I could play it, but girl, I don't want to get a copyright, so I'm not going to do that. But let me see. Momo Boyd. Why isn't it coming up? She's a Sweetheart. That's what it's called. And I just thought this was just such cute corrective promotion. All these chocolate girls, you know, not just overly done, BBL'd out, not, you know, the makeup not caked on, nice, you know, hair. It doesn't look too unrealistic. It might be their real hair. I'm not sure. It would be even better if it was like kinky, but I can work with this. I can work with it. I'm not going to be too picky, okay? Because y'all know I can get a little picky about it, but I can work with this. Like, and they're so cute, so feminine, girly, carefree. I just love everything about this video. I just think it's so cute. Yeah, no twerking, no ridiculously long eyelashes. And the subject matter is good too. It's like, it's not ghetto subject matter, you know? I think this song pretty much was about not being a people pleaser anymore. So even the message in the music is good. This is good stuff. And I was like, man, like this is the type of representation we need. And I just thought that these photos were just, or these images and these still shots were just so cute. Or the video was cute. Now there is a part in there where they're kind of wearing weave. I don't like that part, but where the wigs were bad. But this actual part, I just think these outfits are just so cute. They're so cute and bubbly. I just think this is so cute. And so, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And I also like that the genre that she's in, like Momo Boyd, she didn't box herself into R&B. And I appreciate that about her music. You know, not all of it is for me, but I do like her music. And I want to say that you guys put me onto her, if I'm not mistaken. Because, you know, I make my little community tab posts every now and then, and I'll ask you guys what you're listening to. And I'm pretty sure you guys put me on to Momo Boyd. So thank you guys for that. And I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to think of my favorite song from her. I think it's American Love Song. I really like that one. I got to listen to some more of her music. This song is cute to me too. And somebody brought up Strong too. So I got to listen to that too. But I love her whole style. I love her vibe. And I love that she put this corrective promotion in her video. I don't know if this was intentional or not. But I just love the representation, and I think this is so cute. So cute. I love that so much. And do you see what I mean, ladies, when I say that less is more? Look how beautiful these girls look. They didn't need the long lace fronts. They didn't need the bust downs. They didn't need the long eyelashes, the super ridiculous eyelashes. They didn't need the caked on makeup, the contouring, and look how beautiful they look. Look how much they stand out. This is why I say less is more. Could you imagine if we got this kind of representation, this kind of corrective promotion on a regular basis? Man, amazing. So I definitely think we should all support Momo Boyd. Go watch her video. It should definitely have more than the amount of views that it has. Definitely support her. Yeah, I was thinking that too. It does give like a 60s, 70s kind of vibe. Yeah, I'm in love with it. I love it so much. But, you know, I just think that this is a good example of a young Black woman who's not boxing herself in to the Black community. She's not just catering to the Black community. This is obviously corrective promotion for dark-skinned women, but it doesn't appear that she's trying to be like super pro-Black or mammy or, anything like that. Do we know her politics? I don't know. I don't know. She just seems like a carefree young Black girl. I love it so much. Yeah, I downloaded her EP. I'm definitely going to listen to it. So yeah, I think the girl saying that we need to hype Momo Boyd up, definitely so. Oh, the family is pro-Black. Okay. Well, even if she is pro-Black, hopefully she's not a mammy. But either way, she's not like boxing herself in musically. And I can appreciate that. Oh, she had a song that pissed off the pro-Blacks. What was it? Oh, I need to listen to that. That's funny. Oh, she signed to Rock Nation. I didn't know that. That's what's up. Yeah. Momo is very whimsy. She is whimsical. I love it. Oh, it was American Love. I didn't know they got pissed off. Why did they get pissed off about that song? Oh, fascist propaganda. Oh, I could see them saying that. Yeah, I could. Girl, bye. Whatever. That's a good song. I get it though. I get it. Oh, she has a song with Baby Keem and Kendrick. Oh Lord, I hope she don't go down that route. Ugh. Okay, hopefully I didn't speak too soon. Hopefully she's not a mammy. I hope not. Either way it goes, she's going in the right direction musically. It looks like she's not just, even if she does have a song with Kendrick and Baby Keem, I feel like she's not boxing herself into that. She's not just boxing herself into Black music. And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the whole aesthetic here. I love it. And yes, M3, I definitely also took some screenshots of, and I wish I could play this video too, but I think I would get copyrighted because it has the Barbie song on it, the Barbie World song. So I don't want to play it, but yeah, cute Barbie collab with Olandria. Man, and I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. I got all these pictures mixed in, y'all. Sorry. Yeah, this is good. I wish there was a way I could, like, I don't know. Is there a way to mute the video? I don't think I could mute it. Otherwise, I would mute it and play it, but I don't know how to do that on StreamYard. Maybe I'll figure it out for next. Either way, I'll probably put this on a short anyway. I got to get caught up with everything and start doing shorts again and stuff. I've been so busy, y'all. I got so much going on in my life. So, but yeah, I got to get up. I got to get caught up with like doing the things that I want to post. Yeah, I just thought this was so cute. Olandria is out here doing it, honey. She is out here doing it. Do you hear me? I just thought that this video was just so cute. And she actually does look like a black Barbie. She looks so beautiful. So yeah, I just wanted to share those two corrective promotions and just let y'all know, like, that's just, to me, it's just, this is the way that you're supposed to be represented as a dark-skinned black woman. These two, this right here, this is corrective promotion. Like I said, I want to see more kinky hair, more natural, you know, kinky coily hair. I do want to see that, you know, so it's not perfect per my standards, but I feel like we're getting there. We're moving up. We're moving in that direction. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to see that. And if you guys have any more corrective promotion examples, definitely make sure you email them to askchrissy@gmail.com. Because I definitely, somebody emailed me this. I hadn't even seen this video. And then I was like, oh, this is so cute. And they were just dancing, just carefree, fun girl stuff. I love it so much. So I'm just looking forward to more of this, but this is what we want to see. And we have to support it, y'all. We have to support it. Watch these artists, hype them up so they will continue to give this to us. Yeah. And so that's another thing I was saying, like, even though this is not like kinky coily hair, it's still not like bone straight either. Like, and I think that it may even be like, it looks like they have some, either it's their natural hair or a leave out at the very least. So it still looks very natural still. You know what I mean? So I like that. Yeah, what are y'all talking about with Coco? What happened with Coco? Email it to me at askchrissy@gmail.com. Yeah, and there's some other stuff I want to talk about too, but I'll probably put it in a pre-recorded video. Yeah, exactly. Wanderlust says people like to act dumb when people say we want attractive black women in media. Exactly. This is what we're talking about. Literally, this is what we're talking about. And these look like the everyday black, unambiguous, brown and dark-skinned women. That's what we look like. So it's like, I don't understand why it's not hard. Clearly, it's not hard to find. Clearly, they're not hard to find. Here they are. They're right here. I think I know who you're talking about, too. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to talk about that later. I'm going to talk about that in a pre-recorded video. Don't worry. I'm going to probably mix that in with another topic because I want that to get in the algorithm because I have some thoughts on that. So don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry. I'll be talking about that too. Just not on live stream. And it's not to say that my live streams, you know, I think that my pre-recorded videos do better in the algorithm than my live streams. So I want to talk about that specific topic in a pre-recorded video. Oh, Shannon, thank you. Thank you for sending the email. Thank you, boo. Shout out to you. And thank you to everybody who sends me topic requests, girl, because I don't be having time to be sitting down looking at all this stuff. So I appreciate all of you who send me things to talk about. Yeah, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that girl's hair. But I'm going to mix that in with another topic that's kind of related because, like, that's getting out of hand. But yeah, so stay tuned for that video. I don't know when it's coming, but I'll try to get out as soon as possible. Other than that, if you guys have any other requests that you want me or any topics that you want me to cover, email them to askchrissy@gmail.com. And I will definitely try to get to them if I think it's a good topic. Y'all just got to work with me because, you know, I'm busy. So, yeah. But you guys have a good night. Thank you for joining me. If you want to become a member, make sure to check out the links in the description box if you want access to my exclusive content. More of that coming soon. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as well. See y'all later. Have a good weekend. Love you. Bye.